Well, let me tell you, I bought some clothes from Shein 2 weeks ago, and it arrived today perfectly, right on time
Why
for my birthday.
Shein? Oh
I
my.
love Shein, bro.
Stop it. Come
What's your
on.
problem with Shein? Tell me, what's up? What's the qualms?
Okay, see, this is a personal thing.
Okay, go for it. Go
I
for
have
it.
personal beef with Shein. I don't know if they're
What's
still the
the
same.
beef?
I literally stopped like all of my friends from ordering because like a lot of my friends are just women who just like, oh my god, this dress is so cute and it's $3. I'm
Yeah,
like, stop
that's
it,
me.
stop it,
That's me. I'm, I'm,
and
I'm your I'm your female friend personified
stop
by a
that.
guy.
And so when okay, see, here's the thing. Bangladesh is basically the garment capital of the world, right?
Yeah.
We make a lot of clothes. And the particular people that I know, they are like they have like they're even in a third world country, they like provide more benefits to their workers than like
Oh, you're worried about the workers from Shein.
because though who do you think the workers are for Shein?
You're so sweet, Par. It's a bunch of children. Yeah.
Bengali children. What do you
Yeah,
think Shein
I'm
makes that
supporting your
stuff?
homeboys.
No, well, yes,
Nah, dude. Hey,
but the
hey.
thing is,
Step it up.
Shein doesn't go to the right places, is what I'm saying. And so, amongst all the crimes that they committed over the years, between
Like
so like one
factories
thing is
falling.
they took well the larger companies did that was messed up.
Yeah.
But like the ones that like the facilities that I know, it's like, bro, like my parents went there, and like if I will never describe it on this podcast because that should not be, but like it's like literally like Wakanda. Like it's so crazy. It's like this is the same country. What the hell? And it's so crazy, but like
It's
at the end,
dystopian.
yeah, and the thing is that but they treat their people well, and to the point where it's like everybody from the security, like everything is so well. And but in order to do that, like you need the proper like the pipeline needs to exist, right? The people pushing, the people pulling, and the people working, they all need to be on the same page. And you can only do that if you flex like your Conquerors hockey, and that's what the organization I'm talking about did. But Shein, and it's not just Bangladesh, they have other things, and it's like it's a weird thing because like there's always like the white is right kind of movement. It's just like, oh, children shouldn't be working. I'm like, hell, come on, like when you go over there, it's like it's either that or crimes, right? Like they kind of but what you need to be pushing for is more so like quality of life. Like they're not just in they're not just getting cancer like risking cancer every second and moment that
Yeah.
they're there.
Have you seen those documentaries?
Yeah, the
Dude,
100%.
you have
I've
like
seen
all
like
these
the
like
real life
old
version
women
of
and
that.
children and just disabled people just all in a factory, which sounds horrible. Like, but it's a documentary. It's a
Yeah.
documentary, and they start interviewing them, and these guys are like, "Yeah, I make like 5,000 shirts a day. For every 50 I make, I get like a penny." And it's
Yeah.
it's like dang, and then all the chemicals they're exposed to, because Shein and a lot of clothing companies, when weaving fabrics cheaply, sometimes you use carcinogens, and there's just a lot of pollutants in the air. So a lot of people who end up working at these factories they have a high likelihood of getting cancer. I think the chance is like 83%,
Yeah, it's
and
insane.
it's just not good for them. And it's a really bad situation. But let me tell you, they make some banger clothing. Let me tell you.
Hey, so and that the thing is like for me, the perspective is like what alternative is there, because whatever like you are essentially a first world country coming with like a holier than thou like methodology of like, oh, kids shouldn't be working. It's like, hold on, you built this country off of way worse, like at least they're paying their people. And then thereafter, when you had the industrial revolution, you also had children labor. And it's like, yes, we're in a modern time, but they're in that era. Like the difference is you can't change like how the world works, because that would require way more intervention than you require. But what you can do is introduce healthier practices on how you go about it, and that's
By
where people
voting
like,
with your wallet.
and that's exactly, and that's where people like go to the extreme. It's like children labor shouldn't exist. I'm not a supporter of child labor for that reason, but like it's more so like you're not giving them a better alternative. You know what I mean? Like, in order to replace what they have, the reason why they do that is because there's no alternative. You can't just like, you can't go to someone who's desperate, take away their solution that they are using to survive, and give them no, like, no
Imagine
substitute.
that. We go
Yeah.
over to like China or wherever the factories are, and we're like, yeah, we're gonna shut down Shein, and then the factories are all shut down, and there's no more child labor, and then you have kids starving on the street now. It's like,
See,
nice.
the one thing I will say with Shein
Nice.
is they might be bad in terms of, the reason why I don't like Shein is not because of any of that.
Yeah.
Honestly, I respect Shein more than, let's say, the
Alibaba.
European. Alibaba is
No, Alibaba's
interesting.
fine.
I was thinking more like in terms of clothing brand. I'm trying to think of like Yeezy brand, right? You take a Gildan shirt that's like 10 cents, 5 cents, not even 1 cent to make. They sell it for like $10 per piece, and then Yeezy brand sells it for like $100. It's the same 1 cent shirt, and you think that, hey, I'm selling it for more, so the workers are gonna get more. No, that doesn't happen, right?
No, that does not
So
happen.
in
Margins,
that
bro.
in that regard, Shein is actually closing in the margins to a more appropriate means, where if you ask me how I get my clothing, I almost never buy it in the United States because I have the pipelines to get it for way cheaper elsewhere. But like, hey, we don't want to
Hey,
talk about
my
that one.
pipeline is the app called Shein, par.
And no, but the thing is, Shein is still scamming you because the quality sucks.
Oh yeah.
Because and that's the difference, right? I can get like the high quality stuff that lasts for as cheap as Shein, if not cheaper, because that's the reality of it. It doesn't matter what it is, what designer brand or not, it's the same price. Like the cost to make it, the price to put it into it, unless you're talking about like, there's some companies that make it in Europe, make it in the US, and they have like handmade shit, whatever. Now even that's getting outsourced too, right? And honestly, the outsourcing is way better because I've had so believe it or not, because it's the garments capital of the world, I have had some.
You're piping up your own country.
I've had back in the day, I forget who asked me like fashion was I fashionable or something like that back in the day or something. Someone asked me that recently. I don't know where it came from, but when I was younger, I was always like just like my theories, right? Like I'm always like, someone commented on one of my videos today. They were like, "Dang, like it's so sad that like you're too ahead when you post your videos and your theories." I'm like, "Yeah, but I can't change me." They're basically going to like one of my videos from 2021, and they're like, "Wait, this came true. You're just too ahead of the thing." I'm like, "Yeah, like what am I supposed to do? Just like make it and wait? Like, like I'm just gonna post it when I post it, right? Or post it when I make it, right?" And similarly, back in the day, I was like that too. And my wife has said this, but in my school, I started this thing where I was like, basically, not. I guess it was called. I called it Fancy Fridays, where everyone just dressed up like business, like in suits and whatever, like, and it just started catching on because that's what I did. I just dressed up every Friday, but it wasn't because it wasn't necessarily because it was a weird thing. It was a weird thing because I my parents bought me clothes, right? And there was like a budget, right? And so I was like, wait, like if I'm going to spend clothing or spend money on clothing and it's either out of my pocket or their pocket, I might as well get clothing that I can use for like a professional setting and clothes that I like. And so I just dressed up like my closet was just professional clothing, and that's why on Fridays I was just like, damn it, I have no other thing to wear, so I'm just gonna wear like a button down and a tie or whatever. And then like I was just like, yeah, like this is how we're gonna have to dress like at jobs and whatever. And my friends were like, and then they started doing it, and then it started catching on. We started calling it Fancy Fridays, and then the whole school was doing it too. Like not whole school, but a lot of the school was doing it, and it started not being questioned. And American clothing is just expensive. So there was certain things that, if you went cheaper, like H&M jackets, they were so low quality. How do I know that? Because they were made in Bangladesh and they don't give you the good stuff. But what I can do is I can go take the high quality stuff, bring it back to the tailors in Bangladesh. They have the skill set, but they're not giving us the good stuff. And I can make it custom made there to my size, my fitting, all the stuff for, let's just say a steal. Let's
A
just say
decent price.
a decent price, right? And the thing is, it benefits them because then the tailors have access to the designs of what they're mimicking, and that's just the way the world works. It was funny because the particular thing that I did later on was velvet jackets. So they didn't have many colors back in the day. There was only like black and blue and green, but I wanted red, I wanted purple, I wanted a bunch of colors, but it was also expensive. I was like, this shit isn't that expensive. So I went there and I made a bunch. And then it was funny is when I came back 6 months later, from the companies from the same factory where I had the thing made from, it was pumping out. Those companies had the colored velvet things. I was like, these fucking scumbags.
They learned from you.
Yeah, they didn't even give me 6 months to wear my shit. Like the thing is, because we went to Bangladesh during like the summertime, so obviously I'm not gonna wear velvet in the summer. I had to wait till winter, and by the time winter came around, boom, it was already on the market. And I went to a wedding, and there was other people with like colored velvet jackets. I'm like, come on,
Come on.
but
Do you still wear that velvet jacket?
Yeah, I have it. It's kind of nice. I could wear it to a stream if you want me to.
Yeah.
It's kind of hot though right now.
Imagine we just start dressing up for every stream and every call. I think that'd be a fun idea, actually.
I do that for all of my non-chapter reaction streams on my main channel. I dress up for all of them, right? I don't know if you remember, but like
even your picture where you like posed up like Superman, you're dressed up in a suit.
Exactly. Where do you think those pictures came from? That actually, I was wearing some stuff from back from Bangladesh, so that's how that whole design came out. But now I'm gonna take that shirt, that AI, because that's AI made. I'm gonna take that and go to Bangladesh and be like, "Yo, can you make this?" Because that does not exist at all. And I'm like, "Yo, I don't know where to get this from." But we derailed from the main part, which is that's where Shein is better. Their margins are more reasonable. But the reason why I don't like Shein is because, believe it or not, I did talk about this. We talked about WeWork last week, I believe, last call. And so another thing that I did in my business classes was I did a whole takedown of the fast fashion industry. And they are single-handedly destroying our planet. It is insane how much waste they produced. And it's all because of like companies like Shein and Zara. Zara is actually craziest because I don't know if you know this. The CEO of Zara is like one of the richest people in the world. And it's like, Zara? And it's like,
Zara, is he money laundering? Is he dealing drugs on the side? What's up?
It's because he is the designer fast fashion brand. So the way he came
Zara. Who the hell wears Zara?
A lot of
That's
people.
Wild.
Because so essentially their model, I don't know if it's changed since then because things like Shein came up, but when there was like the like the fashion shows, right, and you see like those crazy dresses, it would take months for that to become a consumer item. You would see them at the fashion show, and then like 2 months, if not a month later, maybe 3 months, you'd start seeing at the Met Gala or at like the red carpets at various shows, and all these rich people that they don't even buy it. They just get sent the thing so that they can promote it, right? And then a version of that gets made by designer brands, maybe like 6 months, 7 months. Why? Because it takes them that long for them to design the dress to be wearable, because none of the fashion show dresses are wearable, first of all. Second of all, they need to make it so that they can produce it like on a mass level. And then 3, pricing can get all the things. So that's where the designer brands come in, right? But who wants to wait 7 months? Is old news. So that's where Zara comes in. Zara was the quickest one. Their supply chain was so incredibly cracked that instead of a lot of places would use countries like Bangladesh and Ethiopia and another garment capital of the world, and other European countries to make their clothing. And that's why it took so long, right? Zara did everything in house. It was like down the road and shit. And so they were able to get these fashion designs out within like days. 10 days, I think, was the thing. Within 10 days,
That's kind of correct. That's cool.
yeah, they could see something, mass produce it, it's already on the line. And they made it so that their supply chain could handle it. So they like from literally factory to store, 10-day process. And then you have to think like, wait, that would create a lot of waste. No, they slimmed it down so that the CEO could be the richest person in the world in terms of like the fashion industry. And it's just an incredibly crack thing. And so Zara does that, right? But then you get Forever 21. Forever 21 is essentially the same model where they take those highly fashionable designs and then like they maybe go a month later, but they also like dumb down the quality immensely. Zara at least is high quality. Like the clothing lasts to a certain extent. Some of it doesn't, but it used to last. And now with onset of Forever 21, then thereafter online stores. Thereafter Shein. Shein is now the monster that has taken over and has now perpetuated the system where you buy and toss because the clothes does not last. And the thing about the clothing industry is people don't know this is that when you donate your clothing, two issues, Goodwill, right? That's what they call it. Goodwill, complete scam. Complete scam. They are 100%. When you think about nonprofit scams, they are like number one. Why? Because you donate your clothes to them. They are a nonprofit. When you are as a nonprofit, I know this because I own a nonprofit or I run a nonprofit. If you are well, you could do this in other situations, but as a nonprofit, if you are gifted items, no matter what it is, you pay no taxes on them. And so now Goodwill doesn't just give them out to homeless people. They could, because they get it for free, and they can get subsidized by whatever place gives them a grant or the government. No, they sell their things at like consumer prices, and then they pocket everything, and they don't pay any taxes. And so that's one way that.
That's kind of cool. That's a good business model. I like it.
It's insane.
Mad respect.
It's insane
Mad
because
respect.
A lot of people like I remember my wife back when she was younger, obviously she didn't know. And so she would do the Goodwill. And I was always that kid. And like even before, like, again, I was ahead of I didn't need a news article. I was like, Goodwill is really suspect, right? Like you donate your clothes and then they sell it. That's like you donating your blood and then they charge you for it at the hospital. And then like my wife's like, huh. And then so she stopped and we tried to find other routes. But the thing is, the other routes are arguably just as bad. The reason why I say that is because I think I mentioned actually, maybe I mentioned when the Super Bowl stuff, remember? Did I say in the last call? Okay, so when the Super Bowl happens, both teams have to make merch. Win or lose.
Okay. Yes. Okay, I remember now.
Yeah, and so when you donate your clothes, ends up in the same landfills as that, and then so you just have like these kids in Africa. They don't need more clothes. For some reason,
when you said Super Bowl, I thought you were gonna go with like football teams and like talking about who's the quarterback, and I was like, oh no, I don't remember this part.
Yeah. So you could go to Africa and all these landfills. Oh, we're donating clothes to Africa. No, we're not. We're filling up landfills full of clothes, and they don't need more clothes. They have plenty. Actually, the issue is distributing the clothes. I'm pretty sure because they still don't have as much clothes as we provide them with. But the reason I think
they won't go cold in the winter
is no. I mean, global warming is giving them winters first of all. But the second part is I don't think that there's a pipeline to unload the shipments. So like these clothes are just sitting in the containers. Like they're not even being unloaded. They don't even know what's in them. So we're not even distributing them out. And then sure, you get them off of the shipments. Who's bringing them to the people? Are the people coming to the landfills? Great. We just expose them to all kinds of cancer because you get all those clothes together. What do you do with that? How do you deal with that? You burn it. That's what you do. You burn all the clothes because what else are you supposed to do? Where are you going to put the clothes anyways? Oh, in the same place where tires and garbage are, right? Like it's the most insane thing. So that's why Shein is not my favorite thing because there's a middle ground and they are perpetuating the most insane side of not the middle ground. Like, yes, the high end fashion is messing up the rich people because they're just I am less upset that this dumbass is buying a shirt for $5,000, $20,000 when it makes it's 5 cents to make, and I know it costs 5 cents to make because I've seen it being made. Like I've literally seen that shirt being sold for $20,000, and like I'll tell you more off call about that at a different point. I feel less bad because at least we're stealing from the rich, right? But the Shein side, bro, oh my god, it's so wasteful. It's insane. If they make clothes that like melt or some shit, cool, I'm down. But they don't. They don't make clothes that melt. Like they need to make clothes that have
An
like a kill
idealistic
switch.
world.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
clothes that melt, biodegradable.
And so I didn't, I wasn't supposed to do this. You said Shein, and I wanted you to be like, oh, like I ordered like $10 a thing. No, I know you ordered a bunch. You love Shein, whatever. Children.
Yeah,
labor,
man,
cool.
I gotta hit the $100 minimum so I could get the $35 coupon.
So here
So they
two
get
things.
you.
I titled this whole segment so far "Holy Kids." I don't know why.
Holy
but,
kids, nice.
But let me tell them, since I didn't know you were gonna announce this. But they don't necessarily know what day this is coming out, so that's fine. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning into the 50/50 podcast, listening to the
Welcome
intro
in,
there.
guys.
You didn't hear why this conversation started because I started recording just after, but happy birthday, Sai.
Oh, thank you.
The Shein purchase was for his birthday, and I decided to go on a 20-minute rant explaining why he was the devil for doing such a thing.
And let me tell you, because you said all of that, I'm gonna go out and in a fit of rage, I'm gonna go buy more Shein products.
Yeah.
See,
the other part is I hope there's not like Islamic people because they Islam. Oh my god, the shit that they did, it was crazy. It was so crazy. I think they fixed it. My wife was trying to. I'm like, why are you trying to defend them? They did this, right? And she's just like, yeah, but it was a one-time thing. I'm like, why do you sound like an abuse? Like, what is this? What like? You have no tie to them. You're not sponsored by Shein. And she's like, but I want to be. I'm like, damn it.
dude, if I was sponsored by Shein, I'd accept that in a heartbeat.
They probably would sponsor you. You know that, right? You're Asian. You have a YouTube
You're right.
presence.
You're right.
You're
Hey, you guys might see me doing alongside the next chapter spoiler review or whatever YouTube video I make. I'm gonna be like, guys, by the way, if you want some good spoils of war, check out Shein. They're super dope.
Hey, make sure you get me.
I would
in
love
on
to be
that.
sponsored by them.
Make sure you get me.
You
on
would be
that.
sponsored too. Yeah. See, that's the thing. Like, yeah,
No, but-
if you want to go the moral route, you could
Yeah.
argue that a lot of companies are pretty immoral to some extent, and I wouldn't say I'm willfully ignorant. I know of everything they're doing more or
Yeah.
less. I just accept it and I buy some more. I say, you know what? Those discounts are pretty hot though.
Yeah. For me, it's not like the thing is like I will never, unless it's like my wife or like my best friends. Like I
Yeah.
won't be like, you need to change your life, right? But I'm not even like that. Like with my wife, right? Like she's bought Shein, and I'm like, when the package came in,
you start frowning a little bit, like a tear,
Yeah.
like the delivery driver hands her the Shein package, a tear rolls down your cheek.
No.
You're like, oh god.
No, that's not it. I do something. I used to do something way more rude, which was when we lived in the apartment. Like we had the mail room or whatever.
Yeah.
And I had so much Amazon packages because some of my business was Amazon or like related to shipment stuff. But I would take all my shipments and her shipments, bring them up, make multiple ships, and just not bring the Shein thing.
Oh my gosh. Now you're the devil.
And she's like, oh, my Shein thing didn't come. I was like, oh, that's downstairs. And like it would be like a little bit later. And then I mean I ended up getting it for her. I felt bad, but like, hey, if it came to our doorstep right now, I wouldn't feel too bad about leaving it there. It's our doorstep. It's fine.
Shein is so beautiful. What a great company.
For me, the reason why
I'm an avid Shein defender online.
I wasn't gonna like I wouldn't take this sponsorship because I would there's other brands that I would want to and I'd reach out first. Like I know a few that I'd personally want to reach out for first.
Yeah.
But Shein is like, like they, hey, I've seen what they've done with the Kardashians, bro. Like all of these. Let me tell you real
now
quick.
that they've worked with the Kardashians, we gotta be the next ones on the list.
Let me tell you real quick.
I'm right there next to Yeezy.
Hey, if I get to put my name along the lines of the greats,
it's worth it.
Don't count me out. And then what comes with that, the money, and it's like I might even do a joke within the. I'm not gonna say this out loud, but like you can be enthusiastic and non-enthusiastic. Like, for example, if someone asked me, "Hey, Par, are you wearing Shein clothing?" I'd be like, "No, like absolutely not." Like, and like the integration stays where it is, and then in real life, it's like, no, this is not.
You know what's
Stop it.
funny?
What?
I'm the exact opposite, bro. Like at my work, I actually got everyone into Shein. we started sharing Shein hauls, and the thing is that he was like some of my manager at the time. His name's Kyle. He said, "Sai, I hate you for this," because he knows what they put their workers through, and he's like, "I hate you for this," but it's so cheap and it's so good. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. Like my eyes started lighting up, and I was like, "Ah, yes, yes." I
I
felt the
can't
power within me,
say
bro.
that I'm necessarily better than this, but I also, people can see my link in my it's in all my YouTube videos because I wanted people to use this affiliate link at the very start because I genuinely, all my clothes are Korean. I told you that before. And I use a Korean website, and their methodology is not too different, but they're like Uber. They're like, not Uber. I wouldn't say that. They're like I guess Alibaba, but like different. They have a standard that has to be met, and they allow manufacturers, regardless of where they're from, country wise, to opt into their program. And so if they fulfill an order and it gets approved, then they stay on the platform. If they don't, they get knocked out. And basically, it's like, it's not super cheap, but it is, like, for what it is, it's kind of cheap. And
Yeah.
but at the same time, like, you can, it's also fully transparent too. Like, you can also see what factories, where these things are being made. And so, like, because they do that, I'm like, huh, this is interesting because this seems like a more of a transparent practice. From what I saw, as much as I could see, it seemed legitimate in terms of, like, they were doing not Shein type of practices from what I could tell, because they were choosing their factories in a, at least from a normal civilian standpoint, a healthy way, right? Like, but obviously it's kind of like, you know, I don't know what's behind closed doors. At least the factories weren't falling apart, you know. At least there wasn't like scandals from what I saw. Like, and the things, those are documented, so you could see those kind of things. I would love it if all of these companies, like, just were transparent with where their clothings are, but like even Adidas is not transparent about those things. Well, as soon as they were, they got canceled, right? Like, and so, like, I don't think Shein does that. I don't think Shein is transparent with where their clothing is.
Man, if I was a company, I would never be that transparent.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I use this company, because they tell you where it comes from, like everything. They even like give you their branding. Like, you could honestly, if I know how to directly contact that company to bypass the website. Like, they are opening that door, which is like incredible. But I'm pretty sure that it's such a good relationship with the manufacturers wouldn't want to even do that. That might break like their NDA clauses or whatever, and they're just afraid. But like, you know, that all of that pipeline is why, you know. But that's just mad funny that you're just like,
I'm a super Shein advocate. My
you're
friends have dubbed me the Shein social
toxic,
warrior.
toxic, contagious toxic.
You know how it is. I love it. I love it. It's like
Oh
playing the bad
god.
guy.
Did
I
you
get
play
to live out my
Singed?
fantasy.
Did
What's
you
up?
ever play Singed?
Singed? No, I hate Singed.
Oh, okay. Timo?
I hate Timo.
Damn, what? I love Timo.
I don't like their playstyle in League. I'm more of a Kha'Zix. I'm an assassin main.
Also toxic, but
Yeah, I'm
different
always
kind.
assassin main.
Okay.
Kha'Zix is my main, and then Fiddlestick's not really an assassin, but I love his playstyle of just popping out of nowhere.
That was my first champion.
Yeah, same. Because he's free. He's free. He's free and
Yeah.
good. I think there's
So
only
what,
like 10 free ones, so he pops up.
so as it was your birthday, besides
What's up?
ordering clothes and it coming, what else? What else was it comprised of? What does Sai do on his birthday?
So, as you guys may or may not know, I am Asian. And being Asian, there's a lot of wacky ass recipes that, are passed down from generation to generation. And yeah, I said it's my time. I'm getting up there in age. Eventually, I'm gonna have to start cooking for some kids or whatever one
Uh-huh.
day in the future. So I should start practicing some Asian recipes. And me, I'm a spice guy. I'm addicted to spicy foods, chips, sauces, just everything in general. I love spice. And there's one traditional Laotian Laos spice called jiao bong. It's essentially chili paste. And like, you're like, oh, chili paste, dime a dozen, everywhere has it. That's fair. But I wanted to make like some authentic jiao bong. And I went on YouTube, I looked up some recipes, I found some websites, and one, they're all in fucking Laos. I don't know Laos. So I walk into a lady, just with like this old lady in Laos, like cooking from a really dirty cast iron pot, and she says, Sabaidi, Sabaidi, good nam, like, I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. Like, I understand
impressive.
some words, and it was kind of gross. I was like, man, I want to support the homeboys over there in Laos, but I can't do it. I'm over here supporting Xi'an instead. I gotta work with the big boys. They're not speaking my language. So I clicked off those YouTube videos. I left a dislike. I reported them to YouTube guidelines for safety strikes. And jokes aside, I went out to the Asian market to buy all the ingredients because that's what I want to do on my birthday. I want to make some sauce. I'm a simple man.
I'm like that too.
Let me tell you, getting all the ingredients is one of the toughest things I've done in my life. There are so many ethnicities out there in the world, too many, I might argue, that when I go to the Asian market, there's like, oh, here's like 50 different cultures. They all have like these different products in different languages. And I love it, right? Diversity is great. Oh, man. It gets me rock solid. But just looking through the categories, it's so rough. What's up?
In Oklahoma, wait, were you going to like an Asian market?
Yeah, like an actual Asian market.
Okay, solid. But like, I would imagine like an Asian market in Oklahoma might not be as well endowed as one possibly in New York.
Probably definitely not. We're such a small state. But the main thing is that like Asian people don't keep shit organized, bro. I understand, I'm Asian too. I get it. But those stores, bro, I swear to God, they get the packages. They get those fucking, cardboard boxes from, Super Cow or whatever Asian international shipping place they come from, and they just open the box and they throw it on the floor and say, here you go. Like, I swear, it's like going to a card shop. If you guys ever shop for like MLB cards, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic the Gathering, whatever, and you go to one of the card shops and you like look through the boxes and you're like, hey buddy, can I get this card? And the guy's like, yeah, it's probably one of these like 35 boxes over here. And you start sifting through. That's me looking for these certain ingredients. And it was a pain in the ass. But let me tell you, I got it. I got the ingredients and I'm going to cook it tomorrow. I'm super excited.
That's awesome.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
I feel the pain when it comes to finding the things, but because American grocery stores, I can't believe this is a thing, but it's like every single time, unless you're in like a Asian community. In New Jersey they split it up, but you go to these normal grocery stores, they just have like an ethnic aisle. It's literally called an ethnic.
Oh yeah, that's what Walmart has, right? Like, you go to Walmart, it's like, hey, here's the ethnic section.
They like the
and then there's just soy sauce.
Yeah. Oh,
that's so funny. I love that.
That's
hilarious.
So, and this is like the ethnic thing, and I'm like, huh? You like, honestly, soy sauce you just put in the regular aisle. Like, I don't know why you can't just put this.
No, that's too ethnic, part. Come on.
Like,
you're gonna scare the ladies.
But the Asian markets here are. I go to a lot of Korean places, honestly, because I like Korean food. I think my favorite Asian foods are Thai and Korean, and then if I had to pick a third, it would probably be Sichuan. Those are my top three.
Nice.
But the Korea market's pristine, like absolutely like clockwork. Japanese markets, clockwork, insane. So
they're just too advanced.
Yeah. And then it's so great because they also, they generally have everything there, and so I'm like, you know what? I trust them. That's one thing about, like, in terms of Asians, like, especially in New Jersey, they're buying up all the land, Koreans, and so that, like, they actually bought up the Japanese market.
Have I ever told you about the racial hierarchy of Asians?
Yeah, I mean, I already know the hierarchy. Yeah. But
that's just how it is. Japanese and Koreans are just up there, bro. Like, every other Asian race is just down. It's in the mud.
The thing about Korean, though, it was they were on the come up, right? Like, they weren't always. They were on the come up in the last like 2 decades.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't really
yeah.
keep up with the chronology of racial hierarchy in Asia, but I'd say so. That's pretty fair.
Yeah, I think Japan was
People
always
love
up there, and
Koreans.
then the onset like with Samsung and shit, then Korea kind of like superseded Japan a little in a lot of ways, you know. When it comes to Hey, listen, when it came to the pandemic too, I was like, guys, there's two countries we should listen to, and it's not the US and it's not a European country. It is Japan and Korea. They should be the leaders in what we are doing right now. And they did it way different than what China did in a lot of ways, which is like China went full force in terms of lockdown, which makes sense. I've said this before. They went full force at the beginning. That makes sense. America is handling the end of it better than China's handling it right now. But Korea and Japan, they did most of it correct. From like objectively, like it's kind of like if you were in a semester, right? I taking class, right? It's kind of like how if you got hundreds at the beginning of the semester and then you got zeros at the end, versus if you got zeros at the end and hundreds or zeros at the beginning and then you tried really hard. It's like, oh shit, I'm gonna fail this class, so you tried really hard at the end, right? That's kind of like America. And then not even America, like barely passes right now, but um China, or not China, Japan and Korea, they were the ones who had average above every single point at every single point. And that's what we should be doing, right? They just never cease to fail. They earn their spot where they are. But and that is disrespectful to the Asian countries in terms of Japan. I'm not talking about historical stuff and the empire stuff. Don't quote me on
The
that,
empires are
but
cool as hell. I like them.
we were indoctrinated by Hello Kitty. If you guys don't know that history, and you watch anime, you should definitely know that history. Uh, but oh my god,
What's up?
no, I just came up with a One Piece theory. Oh no, we'll talk about that later. Wait, so you got all these sauces,
Yep, I got all the ingredients.
and tomorrow, so
I'm gonna cook it
that
up.
was what you did on your birthday. You got sauces so that you could make sauce
Not sauces.
tomorrow.
I got ingredients for the sauce, so I can
Yeah,
make it tomorrow.
whatever,
Yeah.
whatever. You got
Well,
ingredients.
I, the older we get, the less birthdays really mean, you know.
That's true. That's fair. That's
So
fair.
my version of a good day is just going to buy ingredients for a sauce I'm gonna cook the next day.
I'm down. That I'm kind of the same way. I hate my birthdays. Birthdays are traumatic. I don't even want to get into them honestly, because that is who I hate them. I hate them with a passion, and it's so obnoxious because people want me to celebrate my birthday, and I don't know how it ends up happening, but I always just have a bad day. I had like one good birthday, like you know, like in recent, whatever, because but as an adult. Um, but the overall point being that I'm the same way. Like Father's Day is coming up and Mother's Day just happened. But Mother's Day we did like I had a thing planned and I did it the day before where we did like something my wife like she like we did the plan. She just started like crying. She was just like, wait, this is awesome. It was super simple, but like it was just like let's go to a drive-in movie theater because
Yeah.
when we dated and beginning of our relationship and everything, we watched movies all the time, and she always talked with me with like listen to my 3 hour rant about this movie or whatever or TV show, and we loved discussing that. And but then when we had our son, we can't necessarily bring the baby to the theater. And I was like, oh, and we haven't watched a movie in a long time because of the pandemic and then my health situation. And then, when the movies started becoming cool again or like safe again, there weren't really great movies for us to go to the theater that motivated us. And then Guardians of the Galaxy 3 came out and I was like, let's watch this. And then we really loved it. We did a drive-in movie theater, but we didn't get to do the real play day, which is my son finally like passed perfectly to go to the beach, and my wife has
Oh.
been wanting to go to the beach, so I planned out a whole day. Like we were basically like a vacation. Like we were staying at a place and going to the beach, whatever. To cancel that because my son had a full body allergic reaction where he was like the man marked by flames essentially, and he was just like, but he was completely fine by the way, guys. And so we weren't able to do it, and we're still not able to. I can't. We like this month has been so busy. Everybody's like I've been saying that often. Um, but I told us like, oh, can we? So like Father's Day, or Mother's Day is like the father has to do all the stuff, right, to figure out the things. Honestly, the role of a father is to do everything anyway, so that's what Father's Day should be, or something like that. I said something goofy like that, and I was like, so then can we just do the Mother's Day plans on Father's Day, because that'd be so much easier. And she was just like upset at me. She's like, no, that day is supposed to be about you. And I was like, I don't care. Like I would much rather just celebrate what we were supposed to, and that is the first weekend we're free anyways, and it's so much easier than for you to go out of your way to plan something when I already had the plans planned. Everything's planned. And she was still upset at me. I was just like like if we do it another day, is that just like I don't know. But I do the same thing with my birthdays. I do the same thing with my birthdays too. So your wife is gonna be happy with the food, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, she doesn't enjoy hot sauce. She's white.
Why do you gotta say it like that?
Well, she knows what's up. Like, if I use too much black pepper, she won't be able to come out. No, I'm kidding. No,
okay,
no,
okay.
no. It's not like that. I just like to joke on her.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because like there's not being able to tolerate spice, and then there's being white, and that not tolerating black pepper is being white. Like that is the craziest shit I've ever.
I've actually so when I worked at the restaurant, like I forgot what restaurant it was. I worked at so many, but there was actually one guest that came in that said she was allergic to black pepper. And I was like, there's no way. There's no fucking way. Is that like a real thing? Can you be allergic to black pepper?
I mean, where there's a will, there's a way. I mean, people are.
I don't think it's like. I genuinely do not think a black pepper allergy is real.
I think like you can like there is, but like I don't know how common that is. Like I've never come across something like that.
I've never seen it.
Like
so
anything
I just
can
assumed she was
cause
memeing.
allergies. Anything can cause allergies.
Yeah.
That's completely normal, right? But as far as allergens go, what? Let me see.
Yeah,
black pepper allergy.
She said she was allergic to black peppers, and I didn't believe her, but obviously I was like, okay, I'll take out the black pepper for you. But I just remembered, I was like, man, I feel like she's just afraid of spice. I think that's kind of like where I ended up. Like I was theory crafting why she didn't want black pepper. Like if maybe like I was like, okay, maybe this is an elaborate hoax. She's actually not allergic, and she's just a psychopath that doesn't like any spice.
Right. So yeah, like anything. So like she could be fine, valid, but like in terms of how common this is, I don't know, because like anything can cause an allergic reaction. It's just that's how your body, like an immune response. I would almost be curious, and because like it
bring her in as a guest for the podcast.
Well, that, but also people may or may not know or remember this, but before I was doing YouTube, and a lot of people wanted me to start my YouTube on health related topics because they just when it came to diagnoses, basically what I was doing prior to YouTube was an healthcare advocate company that I just like start up on my own. I had a lot of clients, and what I helped people with was understanding difficult diagnoses and navigating the medical system, the healthcare system, from insurance to whatever, because that could be so difficult. And then you get diagnosed with something crazy, and then it's like, what, all of a sudden now I need to like know all this shit, like what? And then so it's like that's where I came in, where it's like it was kind of word of mouth, but it spread really really quick. And like unfortunately a lot of people had random issues. I also help people get their right diagnosis. Is like I overturned like maybe 4 or 5 PCOS diagnoses. I diagnosed one PCOS diagnosis 2 years ahead of time, by the way. The girl literally like didn't listen to me. I gave her all the solutions, and I know the solutions work because they worked in 4 other, like it's 100% accurate. Like every single person I've helped with this, they went to the doctor, completely gone now. Whatever diagnosis they had, gone. So this last girl, she like, I told her like, hey, like you probably have this. You don't have like the clinical manifestations of these things, but I would put money on if you went to the doctor right now, they would tell you. She didn't go for 2 years for whatever reason, various reasons. She just, I literally have the text. I could pull it up right now, where she was just like, hey, remember you told me blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, you were right. And I'm like, damn, I'm so sorry. I don't cover this stuff anymore. Let me see if Let me see if I can show this. Uh, you guys can just see the A. So, uh, like, I don't know
Is
if you
it
can
wait?
read
So,
it.
so you said that's from a couple years ago?
No, this is April 24th
Oh,
this year. I diagnosed it like 3 or 4 years ago, and I told them like if you go to the if you can. What I told them was I believe you will develop this if you tackle it right now. You won't be diagnosed with this, and you could avoid all of the ramifications of it. If you wait too long, you will be diagnosed because they will start seeing the symptoms of it. And that is what she underwent like at the end of last year. She started getting the severe symptoms. She had to be like go to the doctors, and then the doctors like going through the diagnosis process. And then after like 3 or 4, actually no more, like 6 months, they're like, yep, you have what you
damn.
everything
She
that I
caught an
said.
L. That's
And
super sad.
I gave her all the solutions to prevent it. Honestly, the solutions, I basically, my response was like, hey, like, I'm so sorry to hear that. Bright side is everything I told you is still the solution
bright,
for you.
bright side is that you should have listened to me, you fucking loser.
No, like, but like, I gave the solution,
You
right?
should have like sent her a gif of a clown dancing.
Sometimes it be like that, but like after, like
You right now, Colin.
but like I would do that with One Piece, right? Like once Mihawk is a sword, I'm sending clown memes to a bunch of people, bro. If they don't delete their comments, I'll make them feel dumb. You know what I mean? Because they call me dumb. I'm like, yo, stop it. But anyways, believe it or not, guys, yeah, that's what I was doing beforehand. And so for me, when I would what the word of mouth essentially was like people would like literally one of the people first few people, they literally had their like entire like corporate office. So these are like very rich clientele, and I'm like, no, like I don't want to do that, like because I was doing stocks, I was so busy, like I was doing like family stuff. I didn't even, and then we had the nonprofit. I'm like, I don't have time for this. Like I love this, but like now if you put the pressure of like people I don't know and I have to make up a contract and like these people's lives are on my line, I'm like, I don't want this responsibility. But I ended up helping a few of them, and I forget what it was, but then like my cancer stuff like built up again, and so my own health became so stressful, and I was like, you know what, guys, like I'm thinking too much about health, like I gotta stop, and I felt really bad. There's a few people I need to get back to because one of
You
the
get
other
back to them,
things.
they're just dead.
No, it's not that I feel bad. I'll admit it. Man, I have the solution. I don't know. I just feel bad. So the one of the other byproducts is infertility comes from PCOS, and so I also people have come to me for fertility like
Oh,
help,
you sperm donor.
not sperm donor, to help them
Ooh.
get to the part, and I've helped people do that, and then that spread like wildfire. Let me tell you,
Dr. Parr with the cock. He's over
that,
he's over here
no,
helping people.
no, let me tell you, it's
All right, see you
not
later,
a
honey.
good
I'm gonna
position.
go get some fertility from Dr. Parr.
I feel so bad because these are people who like they ask doctors, they ask people, and I could help them. It's just like taking the time to be like cordial. I don't have like
No,
the
I
like
wouldn't do it either. I wouldn't feel bad, dude. Like
no, I
you're
feel
over
bad because
here,
I could
you're
help
doing your
them,
own thing.
and I
No,
still yeah,
but
I know. My
but
wife
here's the
tells me
thing. You're not getting paid for it. Who cares?
no, I am getting paid for it.
Oh.
Yeah, I was getting paid for it.
Was it worth it?
Well, like the people that didn't like the people that paid me all got fixed, right? Like they all got fixed.
Yeah.
But the people that I didn't get the money from yet, that was just because I was a startup, because I was like, I'll do the consultation thing for free, and then the solution stuff, that's when the payment stuff comes in, right? So
Yeah.
once I do the research, and some people take time, then that's when the charge would come in, because then whatever. And then I would also be like, hey, like money back guarantee. If it doesn't work or you're not happy, like you don't have to pay me. Like I literally, that's how I was, because I was like, there's nothing worse than like having money tied to the strings, and then like all that stuff. And there was a whole other pipeline of how I was making money there too, so I didn't even need it that way. But anyways, if this black pepper allergy came across my lap, oh my god, bro, I'm so like, I want this person as a client. I think I could fix that. Like because there was someone who had allergies. I'm forgetting. And then they were like, this is my whole life. And I was like, all right, bet. And then I fixed it. And then they were like, what? Like it was kind of like, man, what did she have? She had like a rash. And I told her that it wasn't a skin problem, it was a lung problem. And then she's because what's it called? She was kept on going to different doctors for all these things, and she went to like 9 different doctors, and nothing got diagnosed. And the thing was, she was going to the wrong specialty, and she had to go to this specific specialty and ask for this specific thing that like normally wouldn't get checked, and then that was it. And I was like, that's fucking cracked. And she's this, and she's a smart cookie. I was so like, to have her as my client, I was honored. She was an MIT grad, and I was like, what the fuck, like, you're so smart. Like, she was so much younger than me, but then she was also like, she was like, I looked at her and I was like, you lived like 3 lifetimes of me, like career wise. And I'm like, and then you're coming to me for like medical help. This is such a weird world we live in. And I was like, and you trust me. And like, hey, like, given my background, I graduated with a business degree. And the reason why she found out about me was because I was a part of a nonprofit that her friend was in. And I'm like, no, this is so weird. This is so weird. But black pepper allergy. Listen, when people say they're allergic to things, it's better to err on the side of caution. But black pepper allergy, I get it.
No, I definitely get it. Like I was
But
sitting there
what can
removing
they
the black
eat
pepper
then?
with my own fingertips, but let me tell you, there wasn't a second where I wasn't giggling like a schoolgirl about it.
What can they eat? Nothing tastes like, not
I don't
nothing, but
know.
because like salt and black pepper are like bread and butter, bro. Like,
I think that's like the second strangest allergy I've seen come through the doors at a restaurant.
what's the
The
first?
the first one, this isn't really a strange allergy. It's more
Uh-huh.
so like, why are you here? So here's the thing. I'm
No.
Asian, right? I
Yes,
always hate
thank
to
you.
like, you know,
Okay,
scare
hold
you
on.
guys with that little detail about me, but I'm Asian, right?
No, I need to pause you right there
I think
because
we
you
can
don't
all
know what
agree.
you don't know what the headline was. You were slandering all the Asian stuff earlier, and then I put Asian Heritage Month because that's what we're in right now.
Oh, I thought you were gonna put Psy versus Asia, and I was like, that'd be kind of cool.
No, I was just like, because like while you were slandering it, I changed it to Asian Heritage Month! Exclamation point! Exclamation point!
So here's the
Yay!
thing.
Yeah.
I'm Asian. I work at a lot of Asian restaurants. It's pretty
Uh,
stereotypical, but it's true. You know, if you go to an Asian restaurant and you see people who aren't Asian, something's off. Something's off.
yeah.
It's like going to a Spanish restaurant. Nobody speaks Spanish. It's like something's weird here. Something's awry. So every now and then we'll get some guests who come in by themselves or with a group of people, and they're like, "Yeah, I recommended this place. I wanted to come eat here and try it out." And then they hit you with, "By the way, I'm allergic to soy." And it's like, bro, you came to an Asian restaurant. Like literally everything has fucking soy. What are you talking about? It's like our bread and butter. And dead ass, at one of the restaurants I worked at, there wasn't a single product. I think there was one. It was like a little salad. But even then, we had to like remove the dressing. But it was like, yo, like we don't have a single product in this building as is that does not contain soy. And that's the thing. Like, it's unfortunate. We can't really help them. We try to, we can't. But some people will get irrationally upset that a restaurant doesn't have a single thing with like without soy. It's like bro, like we're not catering to you. What are you talking about? Like we don't take every allergy into consideration when making a restaurant. I don't think any restaurant really does. You tackle the main ones like vegans, vegetarians, maybe dairy, pescatarian, like things like that, and then that's it. Like nobody's gonna be like, by the way, if you have a soy allergy, you can, we have this special menu for you, just for you. Like ain't no
Yeah.
way. Like why
No,
an Asian restaurant? It makes zero sense.
here's a question, because you said you worked at multitude, and I know like the most recent one was like a nicer place, but
Yeah,
was this place like a nicer place, or was
it
it
was a
like
nicer place.
is a nicer
And I
place?
was the manager, so I was very cordial about it. I said, "Oh, I'm so sorry, ma'am. Like I can go talk to the chefs and maybe we can cook something up." And we did. We literally just cooked some chicken on a platter for her and fried it up.
No, because like
But
at
ooh,
nicer places
ooh,
too, like you could sometimes the menus have like it has soy, and I've always wondered. I'm like that's crazy. Like some people are allergic, like soy. What is a soy allergy? Is that the same thing as gluten? I honestly don't know. See, that's the thing. Like for me, it's like doctors, they go to medical school, so they like fill their brains with all these things that one they'll never touch, but they have to remember. But then that's why I rely on the doctors, right? Because it's
Yeah.
like, I'm not the kind of person that tells you not to go to the doctors. No, I'm the type of person that uses their expertise to your advantage, right? Like, especially when it matters, and then makes it so that you don't have to go to 100 doctors. But soy symptoms, why is soy an issue?
Why are
I
people allergic to this?
Yeah, like I'm trying to figure out, because I know I know that is a thing, but I'm just like, what is the reason? Because I know like the nut stuff is right, like the nuts, like the tree allergy stuff. It's because of the
Yeah.
pollen, and technically, my wife was like laughing again recently because I think she came across a Snapchat I sent a long time ago or something, where I was laughing about me discovering that basically people who are allergic to nuts are allergic to sperm, because pollen is just male trees sperm. And that's why, like, so basically we have a pollen issue in America because there are no female trees, it's all male trees. And so there's so much pollen, and people like are allergic to basically sperm. So whenever someone, like, I know a few people who have nut allergy, like Larry from that One Piece talk, I was like, bro.
Oh, dang. Do you think you could
Yeah,
cause an allergic reaction if you like perfumed your semen?
no, not our semen.
Oh, but I mean, like, you know what I mean.
If
You
I
saw
was
the vision.
part
You
tree,
you saw the par vision right there.
if I was in the One Piece world, yeah, maybe, because where there's a will, there's a way. But yeah, it's kind of, hey,
You're
if you guys
crazy.
have a nut allergy, you literally have a nut allergy. That's
Yeah,
that's
but
my
I just
joke.
want to say it right here. Allergies are not a joke. I would never
Yes.
purposefully, hit somebody with chemical warfare to provoke their
Yeah.
symptoms. I just like memeing about it.
You know what's crazy about the
What's up?
allergy stuff?
What is it? What's up?
Like, allergies are technical. Like, you can have like intolerance, and there's like genetic, like you're just like you just your body can't tolerate something. Intolerance and like allergies are different. Like,
Yeah.
one is your body can't like process something. Your body can't like handle something. The other one, allergies, is your like immune system is like, whoa, what is this? That's crazy, right? And like so like there are like when you have a baby, there's all formulas like milk, right? But if your baby's born allergic or intolerant to, I think it's galactosemic acid or something like that. I don't remember what it's called. You can't get any of the formula. There's like three brands that you can get, and it all, like, basically all of them, like, big letters, don't buy this, blah blah. But you don't necessarily know. Like, you kind of just have to like run it through. You know what I mean? Like you just gotta experiment. So your child goes through it. But the thing is, like, at the start of life, you're not allergic to anything really, and like most times they can tolerate it. And apparently, according to, like, because my son had to go through many doctors, and I got to speak with a top tier allergenist, like, that kind of like realm. I don't remember what they're called, but for my son, because of an adjacent health issue. And they were like, oh yeah, like right now, like a very prominent theory is that the reason why we develop allergies is because our world is too clean. So we're way too clean with our children, which is like a really interesting thing, because there are stories of just kids, like, literally, like, for example, if you have a bottle, like a bottle of formula, right? Um, if they start drinking it, right, and they don't finish it, you can only give it to them within an hour. The reason why is because that formula starts developing bacteria, and the baby's own bacteria is enough to fatally, like, be fatal to them
Oh, geez.
within an hour.
They're
And
their own worst enemy.
there's a documentation about that. And then on top of that, even if they don't drink it, if you make the formula, you only have a 2 hour window. That's what's recommended, for the same reason, because in 2 hours it can develop the same bacteria. And so like, you can put it in the fridge, it'll last a day. In a day, you can pre-make it. It lasted 1 day. If you open like a pre-made one, I think it lasts a little bit longer. But it's like so crazy how separated this is, and how important it is to do all that stuff. And it's even wilder. America doesn't boil. Like, it's not a protocol to boil your thing. But every other country essentially does that. Canada, UK, every other country, you're supposed to boil your formula first and then add like water and whatever and let it cool down. And America doesn't do that. And recently in the United States, like the top brands, not even like garbage brands. No, these are the top brands, the same brands we use, but we use a different like thing. And the reason why I chose this because our hospital uses it. They found like worms in it. Like you literally pour it and then there's just like they saw like worms. And I was like, that's why you gotta boil it. Like at least if you boiled it, that shit's not going through.
At least like 99% won't be there.
Yeah, because like yeah, if you see the worms and there are eggs, you don't see the eggs, right? So you gotta boil it. But you just fed your kid the eggs, and like depending on the we just covered nipple sizes in the previous episode, so like you guys are well informed about
Fat
that.
areoles.
Yes, well they're the same, you know what it is, but areoles with more
Pepperoni pizza.
Yeah.
Fat areoles used to scare me back in the day, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you know, without going into details, I've seen a fair share of nipples in my day. But the first time I was hit with the fat areole, I remember looking at it and I was like, thankfully I don't think they noticed, but I was like, like I was like taken aback. I was like, oh God.
Did you not know that it could be like that?
No.
Opposite?
Well, yeah, I'm like, my nipples aren't like huge. Like my nipples don't go up to like up here. You know, you don't see it peeking through my shirt every now and then.
No shot you saw something like that.
No, it wasn't that bad. No.
Okay.
It was like slightly bigger than a piece of salami. But it was still like a decent size. Like if I had it was like that, and I was like, whoo, that's like half the day. But yeah, I mean, you know, sorry to go on a tangent, but whew, scary.
You know, it's funny. That's a sign of fertility.
It's like a jump scare, really.
Yeah, because
that explains a lot. They got pregnant in high school.
Oh my God. Because believe it or not, when you become pregnant, the areola expands. Because you think that the milk comes from the nipple? No, the entire thing has milk.
It secretes it.
Yes. So like the baby can just be anywhere. Obviously, the best place is the nipple because they could latch there, but they could get like the ducts are everywhere. Like milk.
Now I'm just imagining a baby with the mouth of a lamprey just going in.
Yeah. No, I mean, bro, Zenith, my son,
crazy.
His bite strength is like. This is not normal. This is not normal. Like at 2 months, like he like because like if you like check if they're teething, like you stick their finger in and their gums are hard or whatever. He bit me and I said, "Ow!"
Do you think?
And I was like, what?
Do you think when he hits like 5 years old, he can bite his way through a phone book?
Bro, I don't know. Would you? You know, going back to the thing, would you say you're allergic to areola?
No, I'm a huge areoles fan or areola fan, but no, I've always been one, but
yeah,
it just scared me to see one that's larger than normal. And I honestly not a lot scares me nowadays. I think the only thing I'm genuinely scared of right now is of ghosts. Ghosts freak me the fuck out.
Why?
So wait, I'm not scared of any. So you can throw anything my way, like a serial killer. Fucking zombies, werewolves, like maybe not paranormal, but like you know, extraterrestrial beings, apocalyptic events, you know, my entire family dying. I wouldn't really be that scared at the end of the day. But if you put a ghost in front of me or fat areoles, I'd be horrified.
Ooh, okay.
And I have a reason why.
Okay.
So the reason it's not like a, you know, it's not a fear where I'm like, you know, sweating every day and night, like, oh God, I hope there's no ghosts here. But I don't like ghosts because they're one thing that you can't really fight against. like when it comes to like a werewolf or a serial killer, apocalyptic event, like anything among those lines, a supernatural being even, it's like usually they're physical. You know, you could touch it, you could run away, you could do something against it, no matter how futile it is at the end of the day. Whereas a ghost, wait. Like what can I do against that?
So like The Ring, right? Like when it's like a little girl.
Oh, Sadako. Yeah.
I have no
Sadako,
idea what it is.
yeah, no, I don't mind Sadako.
When
I've
there's
seen
a
a lot of
physical
hentai with
entity,
Sadako.
I've always, oh my god, when I've always thought like
There's
whenever
one that came out 2 months ago.
I've always been
Like,
I wouldn't be scared if that was just a person.
yeah,
Right?
yeah. Like Sadako isn't scary because they take like a physical like form. So whenever I see like Sadako or like something from The Ring where it comes out of your TV and tries to attack you, I'd be like, okay, time to hit in the MMA tactics, right? Like Muay Thai's
Yeah.
kicking in and everything's firing from all cylinders. But if it's just like purely a ghost, like Sinister, for example, where it's just like, oh, like the ghost just pops in here or there, woo, and then he leaves
Yeah.
and then he comes back and he possesses you. It's like, what the fuck do you do against that? Like, what do you do? You know, that's why
So-
I'm not a fan of that. And then let's bring back werewolves for a second. You know, I think werewolves nobody's really scared of them. But the reason why I'm not scared of it is because, like, yeah, I could try to fight it. I could try to shoot it. It won't work, but at least I can try. A ghost, what do? Hire an exorcist? That's not really plausible. You know, they don't really exist. All of them are scams. Like, the holy water doesn't really exist. Like, there's no way to fight a ghost.
So like, okay. When, because I think like if you face like a werewolf or like a vampire or
Yeah.
like it's something that you will die to, right? Like,
Yeah,
you know,
I
you can fight,
acknowledge it. Yeah.
you die, right? What you're not scared, you're terrorized in a way, right? Because it's like,
I'm scared of the option. I'm scared of having no options. I guess that's a better way to put it.
like you're not fearful of it, right? Like I don't live my life in fear of these things that exist, because if they did, it would just be on-site death, right? Like you don't live, because then why are you afraid of something that just can't, like, you don't have an option. If it existed, then it's like there's no point in being afraid, right? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and so okay, but with the ghost thing, this is my rationality, and I have a few like actual supernatural stories that
And I don't want to hear them.
but they're like wholesome. They're not
Oh
sort of
no, I don't
wholesome.
want to hear 'em, even if they're wholesome, dude. When I was watching One Piece and Nojiko came back, and not Nojiko, Bellamere came back and like pushed her in the back out of the house. Man, I was tearing up. I was so scared.
Okay,
No,
okay,
that shit was haunting, bro. I don't know.
this is my thing when it comes to ghosts.
What's up?
I think it's weird, especially from a fictional standpoint. Like I get it. People, writer, they want to make a cool story. I'm a scientific dude, right? Like if we have werewolves and they're physical, stay physical, right? If ghosts are intangible, they're intangible.
They're opening doors and shit.
I think that they are just like, if it's ghosts are intangible, it makes no sense to me to make them like hybrid tangible. The most that they could do is just like flicker the lights, and yeah, sometimes that is scary. But you know what I'm not scared of? Then like choking me out. You know what I mean? Like a werewolf chokes me out. You know, like for me, it's like I would be afraid of a ghost because I see it, right? But then
Yeah.
the novelty of that fear goes away because my rationality comes in. Like it just doesn't make sense for a ghost to exist and they're not to be, like, if they're not tangible, they're not tangible. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but they're
like,
still gonna pop out and scare you. It's like seeing a cockroach in the middle of the night, right? Like you don't want to see it.
okay, a cockroach to me is a little bit more scary because it's like it's also scary.
There's
and
no
it's
effing way you
physical.
think a cockroach is more scary than a ghost, bro. Like, okay, hear me out. Hear me out. You say
Do we have-
you know, ghosts, tangible, intangible. Pick one, right? But
Uh-huh.
here's the thing: in media, which we could argue about how well written ghosts are in general. Like, I feel like they're a weird subclass, but at the end of the day, they are hybrids. Like they jump in between, and sometimes they even take forms of people. You know, like imagine this. I don't know where your wife is right now. Imagine your wife walks in, she says something to you, and then she closes the door, runs away, and laughs, and you're like, that was fucking weird. And then you go to your wife, and you're like, babe, why did you do that? And she says, do what? And then boom, like I'd be so freaked out. I'd be freaked the fuck out if that actually happened.
I have a story like that.
Don't tell me. Don't literally, bro. Do not tell me these stories. I want to
Wait,
avoid.
I think the viewers want to know.
I will take off my earbuds. I do not want to hear any stories about ghosts. I swear to fuck. I'm one of those kids at like a children's campfire where when they start talking about ghost stories, I'm like, I'm going to bed, and I like stomp away with my s'mores. Like, I'm not listening to this.
Yo, that's crazy because you play supernatural, like these ghost story games all the time. But
Yeah,
like,
because they're shitty and it gets me riled up. It gets my heart beating, you know? That's the one thing.
yeah, like for me, right? Like I wouldn't play those games. Like like I just don't need, like my mind's already overthinking as it is, like as you guys can probably tell. So like adding more thinking to it just doesn't help, right? Then I'm just opening the door to like allowing it to exist, to take the
Yeah.
mental real estate. But here's the thing, right? Like that example that you said, yeah, I would be afraid. But I'm also like okay, the door closing thing, like yeah, maybe they can control wind. Maybe that's a possibility because there's a few theories that I have about how they could exist even in a sort of tangible way where you feel like a gust of wind or they press on your back or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's not something that like it would ever make sense to me where it's like yeah, like a tangible form of like my wife comes in, right? Like I would be afraid. I would be afraid. But I also wouldn't be like fearful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Be like in the same way of what I was saying about the like the werewolf thing. It's like I wouldn't be fearful because I know I would. It's just like unless I'm just cracked or like God just blessed me in that moment, right? Cool. It's not happening. Werewolf should like if a werewolf loses, bro, they're the saddest existence. Like, how are you gonna lose to a human? That's fucking sad. Like, how are you gonna be an extra dimensional supernatural demon monster and then lose? Like, that's just, whoo, go back home. I'd send you back home just to send a message, right? But that aside, right? Like the ghost thing for me, it's like I'm not fearful because it's like, yes, I'd be afraid, but then the moment, like, hold on, it's just colored wind. It's just light. Like it's just a hologram.
That's
You,
horrifying. It's so horrifying. And here's the worst part. I don't even really believe in ghosts, but just the
You
notion
don't
that they.
believe in ghosts? I believe in ghosts. I
I,
100% believe
I
in ghosts.
if I see a ghost, I'd be like, yeah, okay.
No, I need to tell
That's
you.
fair.
I need to tell
It's
you.
like a One Piece theory where it's like I don't necessarily believe it, but if it comes true, I'd be like, all right, fair enough.
No, I need to
Like
tell
I
you
can
the
see it.
thing. I
I don't want to hear it, bro. I don't
I
want to
have
hear it.
3 ghost stories, but one of them is wholesome.
I don't want to hear the wholesome ones. I told bro, I teared up at Bellamere showing up and pushing Nami out to sea for an adventure. Nah.
All right, guys, you
When
heard it
when I
here.
was a kid, I once saw a floating pair of pants, and I still remember it to this day. I was so scared.
What? What do you mean you saw a floating pair of pants? This okay? Explain it to me. You share your ghost story,
So
then I'll share mine.
this is the second paranormal experience I've had in my life,
Uh
and
huh.
I still think about it in cold sweats to this day, Par.
Oh no.
So I was at a family get together. It was Christmas time. We were all there. The whole family was there. A bunch of kids, parents. We were all chilling. And there's like some side rooms, and we go there. We play video games, whatever. But I think I left something in that room, and everybody's outside, like drinking and eating, whatever. So I was like, okay, let me just go grab whatever it was at the time. It might have been like a PSP, a 3DS. I have no clue. But I went back to that room. The lights were off. I grabbed my DS and I looked up, and that's when I saw it, Par. A
What
floating
time of
pair of jeans.
what time of day was this?
It was nighttime. Nighttime, dark room, a floating pair of jeans.
What
I
did the jeans do?
I literally dropped my 3DS and I ran.
How old are you?
I closed the door and I ran. I think I was like 10.
Okay.
And here's the thing.
Nighttime. You should have been sleeping. Maybe
I
the
should not
DS.
have been sleeping. I stayed up till 2. 2
It's a little
2
late
a.m. was
for
like
a
my
10.
average.
There's a reason why there's a bedtime
Bro,
for
it has
10-year-olds.
nothing to do with my bedtime. But hear me out. I saw that floating pair of pants and I ran.
Okay,
I felt the chill down my spine and I bolted out of there. And then I remember I grabbed my mom and I was like, Mom, can you I need to look for my 3DS. And then we walked in the room and she turned the lights, nothing was there, and I said, okay, look, oh, there's my 3DS, thanks, Mom, I needed help finding it. And then like we left and I went home like a couple hours later. But no, that freaked me out, man.
that's
That was
interesting
so
because
scary.
I was afraid of my bedroom when I was younger, so I never slept in it. And I swear it was like possessed or whatever. There was some kind of shit there. And so I just didn't sleep there. And I just slept in a different room. I was still alone. I just didn't sleep in that room because I felt like that room was just, there's something
Bad
odd.
news.
Yeah, there's some bad juju. And I have like the receptors for that. Like my wife is the spiritual one in the relationship, but she's
Yeah.
like, it's not that I'm not spiritual. I'm just like, I don't care for it the same way like a lot of people say that there's spirit, like people who astrology. I'm like, I know all this stuff. Cool, that's like stars align. Like we were born under certain stars. Cool, that's cool. But like
The
as
moons
far as
match
like
up.
as far as it affecting my life, right? Like unless it's like in tandem with something else, I'm like, yeah, it was whatever, right? But like the thing is like if you tell me like a ghost story like that, I don't know, like when you're 10 or whatever, I get it. There's some like that when there's people kids. Mine were like basic as an adult, so it's a little bit different. But floating pants is interesting. My question to you is, what did the pants do?
They just looked at me menacingly, bro. Menacingly looked at me.
Is that what pants like? That's my thing. It's like what could that what like what?
But
is
here's the
pants,
thing: they don't have to do anything, man. Like just the fact that they're there just is so freaky.
you know what you just told me reminded me
Like,
of my favorite horror
what's up?
movie that horror thriller movie that I've never watched. You want to know the name of it?
What is it?
I'm pretty sure its name is Tire. It's the one.
Oh, I've watched that. I love that movie.
Yeah, I know I would love that movie. I just never watched it. Where this Tire is just possessed and it's just like rolling down, just committing murders and shit. And I'm like, this is the
Yeah.
most cracked French horror. Like, is this how they do it out there? Because I love this. It's so much better than like Insidious terrified me. Like that actually did terrify me. But like other horror movies, whatever. Like they were scary in the moment. Insidious is the one that like made me think more. Um those are the real scary ones to me when it leaves you like, oh shit, this is something I experience like when they experience like when they conflate like a real life experience that most people have to like something terrifying. I'm like, yeah, no, we don't need to do any of that, you know what I mean? Because that stuff I believe in, right? Like if you tie deja vu to some like that, I would believe that, because that's such a otherworldly. When you get deja vu, I like the theory that it's like an alternate, you just like connected with an alternate timeline, alternate universe of you. I like that theory because that just makes a lot of sense. And it's like, wait, what? How are we here? How did I experience this before?
Yeah.
I like, I
It happens
do
a
like
lot
that.
too.
Yeah, and it's like, how else can you explain that thing? Because it's like, I don't know if you've experienced it this way, where it's like you're in that moment and you're like, no, like I know exactly what happens next. Like,
Yeah.
and then it happens, and then you're like, I have no way to explain this. Like I haven't experienced this before. You know what I mean? But I know what happens, and that's so weird. Alternate universe explanation, I like that. But then I think Insidious took like a few normal ass things, and then they made it terrifying. I'm like, nah, I don't need that.
I'm good.
Yeah, yeah, that's what scares me when you take like, because they actually made it scary. They took like a normal everyday thing that could happen to anyone, and they made it scary. That's the shit. When real stuff becomes scary like that, that is,
Oh, and here's another one. It's not really like a fear, but I just don't want this to happen to me. I don't want to get flayed alive.
flayed,
Yeah, I don't want to get flayed
whipped?
alive.
like whipped with like a broad like a jeans, like
No,
is
no,
that
no,
what
no. Do you know
a
what?
flayed is skin? Is that no? What's
Yeah,
flayed?
yeah. Flay. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Flay is where they skin you alive.
How are they? Bro? They were.
I would not
probably
want
struggling
that.
to put the pants on. They didn't do anything. This stood. This.
No, no, no. I'm just saying, like, this doesn't correlate to the ghost, but like, this is like another, like, not fear, but like, when I think about being flayed alive, I like rub my chin, and it's like, I don't want that to happen to me.
So, guys, the podcast, we do need to end soon, but
Yes.
do you really? You don't like? I feel bad that they don't get to hear my ghost story. And
All right. We'll hear one, but one last thing I want to say before you can tell your ghost story, and then we'll end off too.
Yeah.
Is that here's a good one too. A reason why like ghosts are scary to me is because, like, let's say the cockroach thing, right? If you see a cockroach in the room, what do? I kill it. No, if it's Black Widow, whatever, horrifying for a second, but then I go over there with the palm of God and I bring down the thunder and it's dead.
Ain't
A
no
ghost,
way
like,
you
what do
use
I
your
do?
palm, bro? Please be normal. Use your foot. Use a shoe.
No, I
please.
use my palm. I love
Alright, see,
the
this is-
squish.
This is why ghosts.
I love
this is
the
why
squish.
that gene came to you. Like they were trying to preach to you like, yo, you have other limbs.
They're trying to humble me.
Yeah.
No, like when I
Is
was
that why you
growing
don't
up,
wear pants anymore? Like on stream right now, you're probably not wearing any pants.
I'm wearing pajamas.
Oh, okay.
I always wear pajamas. But no, like that's just how it is. Back in the day, I used to use a newspaper, fly swatter, chemical warfare. I used to spray Windex on them so they can't move, and I still do that every now and then, depending on what it is. but I always use my hand. It's old reliable. Because if you use something else, like what if you miss, right? Like, well, like what if there's like one groove and the spider, cockroach, or whatever survives? Using your hand is so much better because like you could just flatten it out. And just poof. I have like meaty, weird, skinny hands, and it works. It works.
A comment section. Let me know. Let me know because that. Hey,
Are you a foot guy or are you a hand guy? I'm all about the hand jobs. I don't really do foot jobs like Par does. Like what do you use to get the job done? Hand job, foot job. Let us know down below.
all right. Okay. Now my ghost story. I'll share it since this is a once a blue moon for Sai to allow me to say a ghost story. And this isn't
I'm gonna cry.
I have like 4 of them or 3 of them, like 3 legit ones, 1 extra one, and then I think I already told you that like I thought like my car was sentient, right? Because like I definitely fell asleep at the wheel.
Oh
And then the
yeah,
car
yeah. You
just
told me about
came
that one.
alive and like saved my ass. Like that shit was
Fucking Club
impossible.
Botterman in real
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, like that shit made no sense. Like to this day, like even in the moment, I was like, nah. Like I thought like the Pokemon theory that Ash was always in a coma, and like from episode like 2 or whatever, I thought that happened to me. And like I like even sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes like I'll be making a One Piece video or like making something on the channel, and I'm like, nah, this isn't real life. Like I'm just, like, what kind of existence is this? Like I'm reading the news, I'm like, nah, this is only like a part of my imagination as I sleep away in a hospital bed. Sometimes I do think about that. Like, what if it is that case? I would never know. And like, and then I'm like, damn, my imagination is kind of cracked when you think about it. Like, we figured out fusion apparently in my world, right? Like, if that were the case, like we did a lot of good things, but we also did a lot of bad things. I don't know. My brain's a little, apparently. Okay, so this is an actual thing. This is an actual thing when it came to those diagnoses, for example, I always doubt myself. Like literally, if you guys wonder why my videos are so in depth and like they make you believe it, is because I doubt myself every step of the way. Every time I say a word, it's doubted by me. And when it came to those diagnoses, at a certain point, I started believing that like it was they had these issues because I said they existed. Like this girl, for example, that just messaged me saying that she had the thing. I looked at my wife. I was like, "Is this real life? Like, there's no
Or did
way
I
I was right
gaslight
about
her?
this." Yeah, like, did I just create this problem? Like, and like my wife's like, "That's not how it works. Like, that's not." And I'm like, okay, see, like if this is my dreams, my obvious dream girl would tell me would that like I'm right, like, and I'm like, there's no way, and then she would like yell at me. I'm like, clearly this wouldn't be a part of my coma, right? Like, why would I ever dream this up? That's just a cursed existence on its own. It's like, all right, at least there's some negativity here. I'm joking, but like, I've definitely had that thought, and like, so there's like maybe 4 or 5 of those, like if I were to combine all of them. A crazy one was around my diagnosis. There was a crazy one that was just like, whoa. Um, um, but the wholesome one. I'll start with that. This is my first one. I think this is the first one. I think I was in high school, and so I was driving at the time. I woke up on my own, drove myself to school. I always missed first period. Still, it's fine. It's whatever. And like for whatever reason, like turning off the lights, turning on the lights, like I would spend the late nights, and so like and you guys heard from last episode, I never did my homework, and the reason why I was spending the late nights was because I was just talking to mainly my wife at the time, and we would just be on Skype or whatever, and yeah, sometimes I forgot to turn off the lights in my room, and hey, that would run up the electricity bill, even though me and my brother outfitted our entire house with the like LED lights. So it's like even if like the power, if even if I left the light on for like literally a year straight, it was not going to do anything to our electricity bill. It was literally like one light bulb. And but at the same time, I would wake up and I'd be like, "Oh shit, like I left the lights on. Damn, I'm going to get in trouble." Or not, I'm going to get in trouble.
Oh
Like, "Oh, I
no.
shouldn't have done that." Like I like being energy efficient, right? And that night was a night where I slept early. I actually slept early because I had like some kind of important thing in the morning. I had something important at school. I made sure my wife was on Skype. We were video. She could see. I turn off my light. She always remind me to turn off my lights, and I wouldn't sometimes, but I turn off my light. And I think I woke up late the next morning or something like that. Typical par, how it is. I found out that I was vitamin D deficient most of my life, so that affects your circadian rhythm, so that makes it harder to wake up. So if you have trouble waking up or going to sleep at night, guys, and you spend a lot of your time indoors, or even if you're just in the Northeast,
Get that sunlight.
take vitamin D.
Get
Like
that
you
sunlight,
can't,
bro.
yeah, because in the Northeast you can't like even get the sunlight. It's just part of the region. It's just the worldwide epidemic in the northern hemisphere. But that being said, um, I woke up. I went to. I'm pretty sure I woke up. I woke up great. I was feeling great. Actually, no, I wasn't late. No. I think I was on time. Um, and I opened my door, and like my mom was like about to knock or something, like to wake me up or something. And I forget what it was. She was like yelling at me. I'm forgetting the timeline exactly of the fallout of it, but she was like first thing in the morning yelling at me, and I was just like, "Come on, like, are we people? Like, can we not wake each other up with yelling? Like, that's just not a great way to start the day. Like, if you're mad at me, like, can we just use
Save it for later.
yeah, like I'm trying to go like it's school or something, right? Like come on. And she was yelling at me for my lights being on. And I knew for a fact I went to sleep early and I turned off my lights and she was yelling at me that my lights were on. And I was like, my lights weren't on. Now she's mad at me because I'm telling her that she's a liar. I'm like, no, like that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that I turned off the lights, so maybe the lights weren't on. And the thing was, like, my mom, what's it called? For whatever, she's like a night owl. She stayed up. She's like, no, I saw the lights on. And the thing was, like, most of my lights in my bedroom were yellow lights, right?
Yeah.
I had one blue light, or white light, which was like the main light. But I wouldn't use that at night because you can't go to sleep if you have a white light on. You have to use a yellow light at night, which is why yellow filters are so important because it also messes up your circadian rhythm. But that being said, my lights, all of the lights, my desk light, my bed light, they're all yellow, like so super yellow, so I can go to sleep. On top of that, my room's wall colors were green. I like chose a really nice green, and no regrets. My brother uses my room now that I'm not there, and he's like, "Damn, you had the choice back when you were like 8." And I'm like, "Yeah, you should have listened." And so he's been using my room as like his office until like yesterday or something like that. But my mom said, like, so basically I was just like, my lights weren't on. What are you talking about? What are you going on about? Why are you yelling at me? I was just like mad. And then I started getting more mad. And then I was like, you know what color were the lights? What did you see? Tell me exactly what you saw.
Start
Because
questioning her.
yeah, because I'm like, what did you see? If you're so confident, and I told her to describe it. If you saw what you saw, then describe it to me. And she
Yeah.
said there was blue light coming from underneath your door, the entire, like, for
That
for
would be
the
so
entire
fucking
night.
horrifying.
And I was like, Ma, my room is green. Even if I turn on the white light, it reflects off the green and turns yellow. My lights are yellow. There's no blue light. You're just hallucinating. And I said that, and I straight up was like, "You're crazy." Like, she hates it when I call her crazy, but like, yeah, sometimes she's
Yeah.
crazy, and I feel bad. And so I think I like stormed off her school or something like that. I forget the timeline. It was this conversation after. I'm pretty sure it happened before school, or it happened after school. I'm pretty sure it was before school because like I wouldn't have been this irritated. But so it was a blue light, and I was just like, I wasn't like thinking much about it. I was like, oh, she's just crazy mom. She's getting mad about anything for no reason, like ruining my day, like typical mom. And then I go to school, I come back, and damn, I'm forgetting the timeline actually, but I think my dad drove me to school. Maybe I wasn't driving. I'm forgetting the age. Um, and I come back, and my mom tells me that my grandpa passed away.
Oh
And
god.
he passed away during the nighttime. And it didn't like hit me because I was just sitting there. I was just like, I was absorbing, obviously, like a sane
Yeah.
person. Because this grandpa, like he loved me, I loved him. He's like so dope. Like this guy was a rocket scientist that was he had to run from the country and escape because he didn't want to fight in the war and provide planes and rockets and missiles because he could build them. And so instead of like helping or helping people kill people, he's like, nope, I'm fleeing to Australia. And so he just left, and he had to, otherwise like my their like the family would have to be on the run as well, because it constantly chase the family and they have to relocate for him. So he's like, you know what, I'm just gonna go to Australia
I'm out.
until the war's done. And then the war's done, he comes over. He came to the US, whatever, and you know, when I was born, flash forward much later, and he'd pull me around in a wagon and he'd tell me stuff, and like he's just like super dope. He'd also, like, the last year of him like being alive, he like could do handstand push-ups, and I'm like, this guy is insane. This guy is actually, he was like showing, he was like flexing to me. Yeah, it was crazy. And yeah, so she was just yelling at me, and then I was like, wait a second, I don't have blue lights. Like, was that would, and I told my mom, I was like, what time did he pass away? Like, I remember asking that. She's like, it was last night. I was like, and like my mom's like religious, right? Like she doesn't, not spiritual, so she would like normally hit me about like ghost shit. And
I like to
believing in
imagine
shit.
you got out of trouble the minute like the wires connected.
No, I did. She stopped getting mad at me. I was like,
Oh my god.
wait, that's when you said the lights were on in my room, but I told you that they weren't, and they couldn't be. There was no blue lights. And so she basically believed that like my grandpa visited me that night and like said goodbye, and the timeline matched up because I asked her what time, and she was awake and all that stuff, and the blue light. And then like what was funny was I've never got my eyebrows done. Everyone thinks that my eyebrows are like done like they're shaped or whatever. They're not shaped. But my barber recently just trimmed off the front off my eyebrow. I had no ability to stop him. He just went, and I just like, no, but because he cut off the top of my eyebrows. And when I went to the funeral, everyone said that I looked just like him because I had the same eyebrows as him. And obviously we look kind of sort of similar, but I had the same eyebrows. And I was like, no one has ever said this to me at any point. But after this situation, now it's like, huh. And then I was thinking like, damn, what if he like imparted
his eyebrows.
Soul. Yeah, like a part of his soul, and it manifested in the hair and the eyebrows. And I'm like, damn.
And so that's your wholesome one. That's your wholesome story.
Yeah,
that's still horrifying. That's still so fucking horrifying.
Me. And
no, I hate that.
And I'm just thinking like, what if he hasn't left me? You know what I mean? Like, what if he? Because I always think about it like, sometimes I think about it like, hey, why do I know about some random shit like history and stuff like that? This guy was a rocket scientist, well, like he if anything, like I'm the sore on the family, right? This guy, he went to university in Sydney, in India, in Bangladesh. He knows like 12 languages. He was a rocket scientist. I'm like, he gave me some brain power for sure. I needed the help, but I was a smart kid. But like, man, I'd like to think that's why he liked me. But sometimes I think about it like, damn. What if like this theory of like space stuff that I have right now, what if it was something that he gave me? I have those thoughts. But at the same time, I'm not sitting there thinking like, oh, he can chokehold me, right? Like the most he can do is like zap my brain. It doesn't matter if the
ghost can kill. So death isn't, I'm not fearful of death though.
Okay, but if they can't touch you, right? Your logic kind of stands, right? Where it's like you're not afraid of werewolves because they will kill you. With the ghost thing, it's like you shouldn't be afraid of them because they can't do anything.
No.
Scary pictures floating.
Wait. No. So the reason I'm like, I don't care about the death aspect of it. It's mainly the fact that I can do something about it. They're tangible.
Okay, but okay. Hear me out, right?
Say it.
When you're on Twitch and you're streaming these horror games, it's moving pixels on a screen, right?
Yeah.
Holograms are coming. and that's just moving pixels of light.
But I can turn off the holograms though. I can turn
Yeah,
off the games.
yeah, but like, are you really gonna be mad? Like, some TVs are on the fritz, right? Like, are you gonna be mad that the light is just on? You know what I mean? And it's like,
Oh fuck
something
yeah.
scary. Like, I kind of.
But here's the thing, werewolf,
Like, I would
werewolf
meme on it.
example,
No, Sai,
werewolf
come on,
example.
you-
It's not like the werewolf example. I don't remove the death aspect. It's mainly the fact that I can do something against it. I can push him away and get my hands chopped off. Who, like, as futile as I can do something, they are tangible. Ghosts are not. I cannot control them. I can't just go like a bug. A bug, it's not going to affect me one way or another, but I can go up there, I can slap it, or I could choose not to slap it and I could just let it outside of my house. A ghost, what the fuck am I going to do?
Yo, I'm afraid of bugs because like they'll go into orifices and shit, and like those stories are scary. And,
Oh,
like,
I'm not scared of that shit. Like I'd buy some Frogger or something. I don't know.
I wouldn't want to
that's
eat
the
a
main thing.
spider, even though it's protein, and I believe in.
I'd rather eat 10 spiders than see a ghost.
Okay, see, it's
See,
crazy. We are
it's just
wearing
the
black and white
mindset.
shirts. No,
Yeah.
because I would think that you would be the type to want to like meme on them because they can't do anything back. Like they could be
Well, I
as
would-
scary as
so-
they want, and they'd be like, ha 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 ha. and you're just like-
Eventually, I'd be like fucking SpongeBob in the Flying Dutchman episode where, like the guy's here to scare me for the 50th time today and I'm just like fucking drained like somebody's who's in cock and ball torture. I see it, I'm just like, oh, okay, like I've had enough.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, like the first 10 times I get jump scared, I'm going to be fucking horrified. I might piss my pants.
See,
But-
that might, because like my brain would, from experience,
Yeah.
like, and I didn't say the
If-
scary ones, but
If it's a honest to God ghost, it's going to be horrifying.
like I had one, and I won't tell you the story because this one's actually scary. Like, it scares my wife when I tell her. And she's
Yeah,
like a
hearing about your
spiritual
grandpa put the fear of God in me.
Nah, this one is terrifying. There was there was a presence in my conscious life.
Okay, you literally said you weren't going to say.
No. But
I'm not going to tell you the story, but it's so horrifying. But let me get this started now.
No. But the reason why I'm saying this one scared me, and I coexisted with it, was because I could like, it wasn't like a tangible thing, but I could feel like the shivers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I like, and the first time I experienced it, it was like the most like horrifying thing. And then when I stood there, and I was just like thinking, I was like, huh. And then like it happened again. And I tied it to like anxiety, which is what most like horror movies things end up making, like the whole thing about like,
Nowadays,
these
they started
terrifying
doing that.
things. Yeah,
It's like,
hide
oh,
it.
the real demons are inside your head, and it's your
Yeah.
mental state. And it's like, that's
But
so
the-
goofy.
But it, like, the reason why I can't give the context is because then you could like put like two and two together, and like then it's kind of scary. But like this presence was like not necessarily a bad thing, and I was just like, huh. And I kind of just had to like coexist with it and like understand it. And then I once I understood it, I was like, oh, that's what that was. Okay, all right. And then it was there, and it wasn't as scary. So that's like me. Like, I kind of just like I tell you, when I told my wife that, she's like, stop, don't ever tell me the story ever again.
Exactly. I'm like you. I'm on the same boat as your wife.
Yeah,
Get
I
that
get
ish
it.
out of here.
that one is scary. Like, if I ever experienced it the first time, but then it was like the second time, like I told my wife that like what I felt, and she's like, never tell me again. I told her the second time, mainly because it's like I didn't want to feel alone because I didn't understand it, and she's like,
Yeah.
never. So then she's like, stop. And then like I was like, so I have to be alone in this. She's like, yeah, it's better you be alone in this. I was like, fine. And then I started understanding it. You know, at the end of the day, to bring back the thematic that we should be reiterating with every story, this all comes back to like loneliness. I feel like
I was
if
about to
you-
say that too, like loneliness, huh?
No, because
a good
here's the
meme.
question. Here's the question, Sai.
What's up?
Genuine question. I am more fearful when I'm alone. If I'm in a group of people, nothing really scares me.
I feel like that's how a lot of people are, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I think fear comes from loneliness. Like if you were to
Maybe not
experience
for everybody, but I feel like for a majority of people, yeah.
if you were in a group and you saw a ghost, I don't think you'd be as afraid
Oh,
as if
definitely
you were
not.
alone.
That's
Yeah,
why I can. That's why I can play the games on Twitch because I'm just like, there's people there, and we can laugh at it.
that's an interesting thing. That is an interesting thing. I think there's more meaning to that concept than you realize, and maybe if you applied that, you'd be less afraid of ghosts too.
Nope. I will always be
I
afraid of ghosts.
My reason for Zonin, actually, those of you guys who don't know, Sai and I collab with Zonin frequently. Sai more than I do, but uh the there's something he said to me, and it like stuck with me. And he was just like, he basically said like, you just experience a life that people don't have a perspective of, and that is like attracting toward that is what people are attracted towards. And I was like, there's a whole context to it, and I was thinking about that. I was like, dang, why'd you gotta say it like that? I was just thinking about it like that, and I'm like, I guess that's why I'm not like afraid of these things, because just that different perspective, you know.
Like I said, it's even if I overcame my fear of ghosts, mentally I would always want to be afraid of ghosts.
Yeah,
It's a desire of mine.
I
at
also
the
have
end
a
of the day.
scientific perspective of what ghosts are. I'm confident that I could be a ghostbuster.
I so it's funny because when it comes to like my fear of ghosts, I'm
Yeah.
so indoctrinated in it, and I run so deep with it. It's kind of like my shtick at this point. You know, I love telling people about my fear of ghosts and my rationale for it. To where even if the day comes where, like, let's say I get cock and ball tortured by a ghost 50 times a day, and the fear starts to wear off mentally, I would always want to still have that fear because it's my whole thing now. You know,
Yeah. Damn.
that's just kind of how it is.
It is all about perspective. It's funny because I was gonna mention like we are wearing like opposite color shirts and shit, and like, you know, guys, like everything. Life is about perspective. Life is about. I think life is always better when you're not lonely, but life is also a lot better when you tune into the 50/50 podcast, where we have a bunch of different perspectives.
When you tune in weekly and even on Patreon.
Yeah, and now that Sai's at the helm of the wheel, he won't let our podcast go into the realm of ghosts, which they were under my realm, because apparently I'm just weird like that, right? I actually shared my theory about what ghosts are with another content creator earlier today, so that's kind of fun that this thematic kind of stayed. That's kind of cool.
That's life telling you something.
Yeah, that's life telling me that I will become a Ghostbuster once I retire.
Never hit me up. Literally, the minute you become a Ghostbuster, I'll lose my number. Delete me on Discord.
For me,
no association.
For me, like my wife always says this. This is like, she's always like, life throws you problems because you can solve them. And I'm like, come on. Like, because like, you know, with my health shit, it's like, I solved it. And like all these other people with the health stuff's like, now I could solve them because of my problem and stuff like that. And like, I swear if a ghost ever came my way, get ready to be solved. The Ghost Buster.
Ghost, if you come by me, I'll sick par on you.
Yeah, come to me. Only Sai gets that pass. Guys, don't send your ghosts my way. I don't want them.
Yeah, please don't do that to me either. I don't want to hear your ghost stories. If I hear a ghost story from you, I'll block you. Easy
yeah,
peasy.
he actually will. I know Sai will.
I will 1,000,000% just block you.
Yeah. So with that, guys, thank you for tuning into the 50/50 podcast.
Yes, thank you, guys.
And I don't know if there's many announcements because Sai and I are too busy to even make announcements. We recorded this on the most absurd day.
Fly.
Yeah,
random day. Random day, random time.
On Sai's birthday. Like,
Yeah.
I have to wake up and like, I have to go build something. Then I have to submit something, build something. Then I have to drive to a doctor's appointment. Then I have a court hearing. And like, oh my God.
It's a beautiful day for par tomorrow.
And then after that, I have to prepare for basically a 6-hour road trip with an infant that can't. Oh my God. Guys, stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you, Sai, for having this conversation.
Look up Laos food. Some of it's good, some of it's bad.